Hey guys, this is your boy Nick. I'm gonna play some Isaac. Been a little while. New run. Let's go ahead and play Isaac. Simple enough. Hopefully my audio, again, it's always about the audio, forever and ever. Make sure that my speakers are low enough that they're not getting picked up by the microphone, but loud enough that I can hear them. Yeah, let's get into it. It has been a while since I recorded an episode. There's been a lot going on in my head and in my life. I'm not sure how much of that I'll go into here. I'd say part of the reason I actually stopped recording these episodes was that I suddenly got I got seriously nervous that I was overexposing myself a little bit here by just sharing a lot of kind of personal details about my mental health journey and my family and whatnot. And as I record this right now, what day is it, first of all? It is February 11th. I think I recorded an episode in February. I don't know if it's been that long. But yeah, basically, as I record this now, I'm not sure that I will upload it. I'm gonna decide that afterwards and decide if I need to start like going back and editing videos or anything like that to remove information that I'm, decided after recording it's a little too personal. But for now, I'm just going to continue recording, and I may even actually just upload this one and keep the other episodes private for now. We'll see. Basically, I got to the point where I was kind of frozen, which happens to me sometimes, where on the one hand, I really want to continue recording Isaac because that was just fun. It was just fun for me and it was bringing me joy and energy. And it was like a creative outlet. And I was scared and I didn't know how to proceed. And I froze. And that freeze response is something very familiar to me in my life and pretty painful, honestly. It's a very uncomfortable feeling to want to do something and not know how to do it. Yeah, basically not know how to do it, not know how to get back to a state where I'm doing the thing that I enjoy. So here I am, and I guess the solution was to tell myself, well, I don't know if I will upload this or not. I'll decide that later. And yeah, that allows me to continue recording and feel like I'm talking to the world, and it feels nice to do this right now. So also as an experiment, I'm going to see if I actually can decide what I'm going to talk about. Now let me explain what I mean by that. That's cool. The secret rooms are opposite each other. Like, I'm wondering if these episodes are sort of per definition, I have no control over what comes out of my mouth. In which case I will have to, be mindful about what I say and if I need to edit it. Or if I can sort of go and record these in a more mindful way where I have sort of a list of things that I'm willing to talk about and a list of things I'm not willing to talk about, and just sort of edit that list as I go. I would like to believe that I am capable of editing my speech. I certainly am in daily conversation. Like I don't just walk around and just completely blab all the time. But I am a very honest and open person. But usually, and I think that's the issue here, is that usually I see the person that I'm talking to and I can sort of judge how big of an audience that is and who's going to listen to this, what I'm saying, and I can see their reaction and their face and use that to kind of modulate what pieces of information I'm giving or withholding. Oh, that's cool. This, my trinket, the thing in the bottom left, it's like a nail file, or it's a file, and so it files down all the spikes. So there's no spikes on this door. Wow, that's actually super great. How powerful is that? Okay, we'll use the hermit. Go to the shop, that's fine. Yeah, so I'm curious if I can decide what I'm going to talk about, or maybe not even decide what I'm going to talk about, because that would ruin a bit the organic nature of these videos, which is like, it is kind of off the dome, so to speak, which I like, and that's what I enjoy about, you know, Northern Lion videos and their sort of like strange meandering path, yeah, but I guess what I mean is I'm wondering if it's possible for me to have an episode where I talk about like the game. Maybe the game is just not challenging enough for me to be like fully engaged with it and thinking about it. I think if I recorded another game, I would have a lot more to say about the game I'm playing. Or I would have to talk about the game I'm playing because that's where my thoughts would be, because I would be like processing and understanding new things. Whereas with Isaac, at least at this level of Isaac, it's not really difficult enough to make me have to do that. So maybe it is a bit forced if I talk about the game. Like, I don't have anything to say. It's just Isaac. You know, I'm just playing this game, and you know, I spoke to my brother and my dad about this channel that I started because they're both gamers and they watch YouTube content as well, and got their opinions on it. And both of them actually had kind of the same the same response to it, which is like, yeah, but Nick, like, what is the channel? You know, like, what are you doing with it? What are you trying to accomplish with it? Is it a therapy, mental health, addiction style philosophy podcast, basically, or is it a gaming YouTube channel? You know, and I think my first reaction was like, yeah, you're right. You know, I need to pick a lane here, and I think that actually sort of contributed to me staying away from it even longer, because I was like, well, shit, I don't even know what I'm trying to do here with this. Maybe I need to have an intention. I need to set a clear intention. And then I'm kind of more like, yeah, fuck that. Like, I don't need, no offense to my brother or dad, you know, your opinions and views are valid, but I think I disagree in this case. Not I think, I do disagree. I don't need to pick a lane, at least not yet. Not in this stage, not after having recorded like 5 or 6 episodes. and I, like, it's just fun, you know, like, this is just fun for me. And that's all that matters, is that I'm getting joy from this. As my therapist Lisa, my psychologist Lisa, I'm sure would agree, is that it's simply helping me to find joy in life and get my basic needs met, my needs for like play and expression, and probably even just like talking, you know, processing thoughts. But yeah, so I'll be a bit more mindful, I think, about how deep into my own brain we go here. I'm used to speaking at that level and really like psychoanalyzing myself all the time. Probably not in like a Freudian psychoanalysis way, but just literally like analyzing what's happening in my own head. And you know, maybe I'm starting to realize like that's not so. I don't really want either of these. This guy can be pretty good, actually. So I'll take both, in fact. It kind of changed. Oh, and Contract from Below is good too. I thought that was the missing page. There's another item that's also kind of like a piece of paper that I don't even remember what it does. I think if you take damage, there's a chance that it sort of plays like a death card effect, which is like this one, which that was not an efficient use of the death card. I just wanted to demonstrate for, I guess I'm also talking to some viewer who theoretically has never played Isaac before, but you know, oh, this is, oh, wow, look at that. Okay, so these bloody chests, that's cool. These bloody chests, man, this trinket is so good. These bloody chests right here, normally when you get close to them, they stick spikes out, which is meant to kind of like trick new players into accidentally hurting themselves. Or, you know, I do recognize the chest when I see it, so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bump into it. Unless, you know, sometimes I sort of see it as like actively, I'm willing to pay the price, you know, because you could also view it as just like this thing. This is an item you get for cost. You pay a heart to get money equals power. And I can't see my items for some reason. Why is that? No. I could turn this on. This is, yeah, now we're talking. Found HUD. Yeah, with my stats. Oh yeah, all this got turned off when I, like, changed, when I updated the game. Okay, that's better. And maybe even the, like, music settings changed a bit, too. Let me know, again, how the sound is. I can change that again. Where was I going with all this, brother man? I will use a key here. Money is now more valuable, well, potentially more valuable in my pocket because I have now money equals power. So I like having the money because it just gives me damage. So I'm not as sad if I don't end up going to the shop because then I think, well, okay, I basically am maybe better off just keeping the money for myself. Changes the whole dynamic. I love this trinket, this the nail file, or the file. I guess it's not a nail file. A nail file would not be nearly potent enough to file down all these fucking spikes. Like, no way. it would run out of file, you know? Like, I don't know. I've never really used a file for very long, but just by nature of any tool, they can't last forever. What is a file? You know, it's like a piece of metal with sort of raised bumps on it. So I would guess that after enough use, depending on the hardness of the metal, and also depending on what you're filing, you know, it's eventually going to get worn down. So a nail file, if it's designed with a hardness to rip through, you know, human. What is this stuff? Keratin. Is it keratin? I think it's keratin, like what our nails are made of. Like, keratin is significantly softer than literal metal spikes on the ground. I don't know what these metal spikes are made of. You know, I'm sure somebody could make a whole video theory crafting that if they really wanted to. I don't really want to. But let's say they're like steel. You know, they're not rusted, and a lot of this stuff in this dungeon seems quite old, so they're probably not iron. I'd say they're probably like stainless steel, or harder, you know, or something. I don't know if like titanium is harder than stainless steel. Somebody could at me in the comments. Somebody, a metallurgist or a materials engineer, materials scientist could tell me what they think what alloy these spikes might be made of, or, you know, maybe some engineer could say what's most likely to be installed in this cave. Because somebody built this. I think this is the first time I'm ever experiencing this thought, is somebody built all this. Somebody built this dungeon underneath Isaac's home. Or maybe, I mean, you could also argue that it's like a mental construct. You know what? Sackboy is a worthy investment, because I think sacks can hold coins. So I'm pretty sure that over the course of this run, I will get my money back, and then some. And I'll get sacks, which if we find an active item is fantastic, because they often hold batteries. So, yeah. You know, something I think I do want to say, that I think I'm comfortable with saying this, because I've already spoken about, like, mental health, my own mental health struggles on this channel, especially if I think I am going to go back and re-release the old episodes, either unedited or slightly edited, but I think I'm going to keep most of the stuff in there about my own, like, struggles with mental health and addiction and depression and whatever, anxiety, and sort of my path in working with that and recovering from that, and how that has been for me, because that's kind of important for me as part of this channel. Like, I think just doing a gaming channel is not really interesting enough. Yes, there we go. Just doing a gaming channel is not really interesting enough for me, you know? I am also inspired by, like, Healthy Gamer GG, Dr. K, and sort of combining the fields of video games and mental health, and talking about mental health. Yeah, because that's been a big, yeah, we've already been here. That's been a big theme in my life, and especially is right now, given where I'm at. I've finished my degree, I finished my master's, and I finished a yoga teacher training, and now I'm just back living in a studio apartment by myself, and figuring out what the hell is next for me, and finding that really challenging this period of my life. Of like, this in-between state of, I want that. Of having finished the things I was doing, which I'm very like happy about and proud and even amazed that I managed to finish the master's degree. That was a fucking brutal effort, man. Good God. And it was rife with mental health issues. Like, that's why I'm amazed I finished, was because I just had so many struggles during doing that project. Struggles with addiction, struggles with depression, anxiety. Basically all the things I'm struggling with now were present then. But they're especially here now because I also don't have something to kind of like, I really played myself there. I don't have something to structure my life around at the moment. And I did actually find that a bit in this Isaac, recording Isaac. I was like, well, that's something to do. Because I just need something to do, man. Like, they say, idle hands are the devil's playthings. And I wish they weren't. I wish I could, I guess it is what I'm doing. I'm finding some structure in the chaos on my own, which is cool. But like, I watch like YouTube channels of people who, are totally self-employed and self-organizing, and they thrive in empty spaces. And I've never throve in an empty space. I've always kind of like hooked myself up to some kind of institution or education or something kind of bigger than myself to give myself some direction and something to work on. Even if it wasn't something that I really wanted to work on, it was like better than having nothing. And I find that's a big theme for me right now. Is like I really don't want to get caught up in another one of those things. Like I'm really like doing a PhD or getting caught up in a job that I don't like. And I'm probably building it up bigger than it actually is. Like for instance, you can always quit a job. I guess I have some sort of fear that once I start doing it, that I'll get kind of wrapped up in it, and my like sense of self-worth will get wrapped up in someone else's dream and working for someone else, and I'll start to be like, well, okay, this is stable enough and good enough that I won't want to pursue something more interesting. I think this is just a bunch of cards. I'll blow this up. And so then, it's kind of perfectionism, I guess, a little bit, because I'm like, well, I want to do this. I really want to do something that I like, and which is fair. Like that's a totally reasonable thing to feel. Like I see friends that and if you're listening to this and you're my friend and you feel called out, it is what it is. But I have friends that like work in jobs, and I don't think that like they're necessarily happy working the job. It's also a bit different for them because they are in a position where they have to work to just sort of like, pay for food and an apartment. And I am really blessed right now in that I don't have to do that immediately. And yeah, but I'm just like, yeesh, like, like what a titanic amount of like time and energy. And if you're just some random person listening to this and you work and I feel sorry for you, son, if you don't like it. Like, I think work can be beautiful and give meaning, and you can feel like you're contributing to society, and it gives structure and all kinds of things. Like, work can be really good, and it can be really bad, and it really depends on the context. Like, if somebody's doing something that they really don't want to be doing and dislike, but they sort of feel that they have to do it because of capitalism, because of the way the system is organized, because of their finances, whatever, you know, because they've not had an opportunity to try out a different lifestyle that, you know they don't want to be like a wandering vagrant or whatever, like for whatever reason. I would say that describes many people that are kind of in jobs that they don't really like or don't feel called to do. And there's also personal responsibility in there, like in the sense that, you know, it takes some balls, some courage to step away from security, step away from the thing that is known and like dependable, and maybe risk your financial security on something that's not a guarantee, you know, to like go pursue your dream of being a pastry chef or a baker or whatever. So some people, I think, are stuck in that. They're kind of like suffering, but also not suffering enough that it seems worth it to risk their financial security. We're doing a lot of damage, are we? We should definitely hide behind Dry Baby here. See if we can get some more damage. Come on, Dry Baby. Come on, Dry Baby. Yeah, so, you know, I just want to recognize first that I am in an extremely like fortunate and privileged position that I can even sit here and play this game on a weekday morning, and I'm not obliged to go and sell my time and energy to the company, you know, to some corporation that I don't necessarily agree with their values or the way that they do things. This has been quite a meandering talk here. I'm not even sure where I was before this. Before this incarnation on this earth. What was I doing? What was I doing in my last life? I ask. But okay, so on the topic of I'm not sure how I got to where I'm talking about now, but I wanted to talk about mental health a little bit, and that's, oh yeah, so these Isaac episodes are interesting for me because I want to talk about that. I'm missing the link here. I'll just try to like replant myself back to what I was talking about earlier, which was, give me a moment. A little pause. What the hell? What was that? That was some crazy interaction. I guess I could just talk about the game for a little bit. If it's important, it'll come back to me, yeah? It's important. Yeah, tell me in the comments. What the hell was I talking about? How did I get on this topic? So what I think I probably should say, because it's really on my mind right now, and probably it's going to come up as a topic again, and I don't feel like just editing out all the time, is that I may be bipolar, type 2. And I'm not a huge fan of classifying things and labeling and being put into boxes and, you know, whatever, type 1, type 2, like, I'm sure it's a spectrum, like everything is a spectrum. It's just a matter of like how severe are the consequences of mania, basically. And when mania is like seriously problematic, then you call that manic depressive, you know, Hundo P, full power, Super Saiyan 3, bipolar. Come on. That was not worth it. And in my case, like, so I'm not diagnosed. Actually, that's not true. I am diagnosed, but I was young. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. If you have like trypophobia or whatever it's called, these rocks are kind of freaky then. I'd say even for me, they're a little freaky. I was diagnosed with bipolar type 2 disorder when I was like 19 years old. And I was using a lot of substances at that time. I was sort of daily, like smoking weed, drinking alcohol, pretty much those two. And so I think a diagnosis was made not necessarily when one could be made, at least how the field views it now. Maybe back then it was different, but Wow, it's really crazy the interaction here. But basically, that's a thing. Like, and I hope that, and I think part of the fear that I have in sharing this is because of stigma, like social stigma around mental health. And of course, it's way better than it was 50 years ago. You know, back then nobody would be talking about this in any kind of like public forum. Oh, panic equals power. So then I guess lower health means more damage. So let's try to donate all of our health away. Oh, but he paid out, right? Yeah, and I guess that's part of what I intend for this channel is to destigmatize things like depression, like to just destigmatize even further. I'm not saying I'm like a champion in the field of destigmatization or activism, but just to provide yet another source of that into the world where people are openly talking about their struggles and in a way that maybe, hopefully, ideally, like validates someone else's experience of reality and maybe removes a little bit of shame around what they've been experiencing. But yeah, like my life has just been really characterized by sort of mood instability over time, is I'd say the best way to put it. And I have periods of like intense depression and very low activity, and it's often, you know, comorbid then with like drinking or using substances. And then it's like a chicken or the egg thing, you know. What are the substances causing the depression, or are the solution for the depression? Hard to say. So actually, like, what I would like to do right now is go and see a psychiatrist and talk to them about diagnosis, but doing it like sort of in a proper way. And if that means I need to be abstinent for a period, then I will do so, or at least, you know, mostly abstinent, or maybe we can agree on some amount of like drinks or whatever. Like I would like to work on that. I would like to see if it's. Did he take my golden key? Yo, really? I didn't know that happened. I think they changed that. I think you used to be able to donate infinite keys if you had a golden key. I could be wrong though. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, like, so, you know, I think I talked about it in earlier episodes, but this period of my life has seen a fair bit of use. Like I started using some substances again and drinking, and sometimes it's been fun and positive, and other times it's been more like how it was before, and more like addictive pattern and not so much fun. More really just like escapism, or using it to regulate my emotions, or just deal with like pain and fear. And you know, I'd say right now I'm doing pretty well. I'd say that's like evidenced by the fact that I'm even recording this episode. But I also, you know, at the moment I feel like very high without anything. Like very high, like really very positive mood, very talkative, a lot of energy, racing thoughts, and intense, powerful emotional thoughts as well. I've been crying a lot this morning and feeling anger about things, and just thinking about my past and about recovery and addiction and all these things. And it's been beautiful. Like, this morning has been really great for me. And I sort of look at it in the third person, and I'm like, yo, but dude, I mean, like, isn't this a little intense? Like, isn't it maybe? Would you not say that this is evidence for bipolarity? So I don't know. Like, maybe you'll hear me later in a future episode say, nah, that guy didn't know what he was talking about. I'm fine. I don't need anything. But at least, like, yeah, my experience of the last few days has been really like bipolar as fuck. Like really explosive diarrhea. No, that's just the pill. And I just want to talk about that a little bit and just say, like, yo, that seems to be a thing in my life, and maybe I wake up tomorrow or in a few days and all of a sudden I'm really down. What is the best item here? Probably it's this, but I think I will go with telepathy for dummies because it's cooler. Yeah, maybe I wake up in a few days and I'm feeling suddenly like very depressed, and I'm just gonna watch what happens, and I'm going to seek treatment for it. At the same time, I am going to like, I have a couple potential avenues to find a psychiatrist here that will treat me. Because also when you also experience addiction, then treatment becomes more difficult if you're using at the same time. So hence why there would have to be some kind of plan for either like, you know, heavy moderation or complete abstinence for a period to in order to make a diagnosis. And yeah, what else? Yeah, so that's a whole topic in itself, even like getting diagnosed. I think I will not go into that right now. I think I've spoken enough. Well, we'll see. We'll see what comes out of my mouth. Can I filter is the question. A part of me wants to just talk about like the run and go like, oh, we're having a pretty good run here, guys. Pretty powerful. We got Love of Coal. It gives us more damage over a distance, and got a lot of health. Yeah, a lot of damage. Good tear rate. I think it's going to be a good one. I think we're going to win. And I guess I did say that, but it felt a little forced. Yeah, actually, what I want to talk about is my like the stuff that's on my mind right now, and mental health and addiction and whatever. Yikes. But yeah, basically, I've been kind of going through a mental revolution or series of revelations around addiction, recovery. Like, it's been on my mind, you know, because obviously, like, it's been a big theme of my life for the last few years, since I went to a rehab clinic and started going to like 12-step meetings, AA, Narcotics Anonymous, and experiencing their whole view on addiction, and you know, it's been a mixed bag. Like, there's been things that have been helpful that I got from the 12 steps, and there's been things that I think I'm starting to realize were seriously not helpful and actually actively harmful to my recovery, parts of their ideology. And probably on this channel I will, at least right now in this phase of my life, I will be outspoken against, I don't know if it's against the 12 steps, but I guess I will be supporting the idea of alternative recovery pathways, be they harm reduction, moderation, non-12 step based total abstinence. That's what's on my mind right now. And as I just look at how I've been seriously harmed by some of the thoughts, some of the beliefs that are prevalent in not only 12-step literature, but also the rooms in the culture that's found there. And I've started finding some resources and podcasts and a lot of people in the recovery community that have escaped the cult. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the word cult. And when I was in it, I was like, no, it's not a cult. And when I'm out of it and I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should read more about the definition of a cult before I start making claims like that. But like, basically, there's a lot of shaming and fear and judgment around people that leave or pursue alternative ways to find treatment or help. You know, it's like, no, you are a disease. Oh, sorry, you are not a disease. You have a disease. You are an addict or an alcoholic, and you need these meetings. You need meetings and a sponsor, and you need the program. The program doesn't need you, but you need the program, and they'll basically be waiting there for you to come back if you leave, because they know you'll be back. And man, like, talk about a bleak outlook. Talk about like and also a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, if you tell yourself that day in and day out, then I think it will come true. I think you'll be so afraid when you leave that and ashamed, like afraid and ashamed when you leave, such that there's so much like negative emotion happening that it becomes so scary. And then of course the usage does happen. Like, of course you know, if you step out and you say, okay, I'm going to try to moderate or something, you're kind of shunned by the, like, not by everyone in it. There are some very open-minded people in the program, but what they teach and what's in the culture is basically like the people that step out and try to moderate use or try to use again or drink again or whatever, they're a danger. They're like dangerous people, and they should be, you know, avoided. And basically the only thing you can tell them or should tell them is go to a meeting. You know, you fucked up, you've fallen off the wagon, you've fallen off track, and whatever you're saying to justify your usage is basically your addiction talking. Your thoughts are not valid. You're sort of like cognitively disqualified. It's like your thoughts cannot be trusted because you've used recently or because you've relapsed. And that's fucking harmful, man. That's super harmful. Like, and I also understand why it's there. It keeps people in the program. But it keeps them by force. Like, it keeps them by threat of essentially, you know, I don't know, probably the listener is not familiar with the lingo used, but it's like jails, institutions, and death. That's the fate of somebody who is an addict or an alcoholic and doesn't find help in the 12 steps. It's like jails, institutions, and death. And not everyone believes this. And really, I have met a lot of beautiful, open-minded, cool people in the rooms of the 12 steps. Some of them are my friends to this day, and even one of them is one of my closest friends. You know, and he has also like rejected their philosophy and walked away even earlier than I did. And and like it just makes you so scared. You just get so scared and thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just an addict. I can't control it. And I'm not necessarily saying that I can, but I'm more questioning the tactics that are used to keep people in the meetings. Sort of the shaming, the judging, and these belief systems that are sort of implanted and repeated again and again and again to form like brainwashing, to essentially try to make someone so scared to leave. You know, it's like Mormonism or something. It's like, if you leave, the consequences will be so high for you. You're shunned from your community. You know, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. So if you have a desire to moderate, then you're not welcome at the meetings. And I'll tell you what, the meetings are helpful. as much like brainwashing and shit happens in the meetings, I wish there were meetings that didn't have that. And actually there are recovery meetings that don't have that, and I'm finding them now. But like, the meetings are good because the meetings offer community. They offer structure. They offer like a dependable place that you can go week after week after week, and you know it'll be there. And you know that you can connect with people who share your struggle, and they can talk about what works for them and their own path, and it can be so helpful. And if you have a different way of thinking about it, then you're not welcome. You're simply not welcome. If you want to moderate or explore harm reduction, you know, then there's some beliefs are welcome. You know, you can have your own beliefs, and I know people that go to the meetings and use like psychedelics or plant medicine, and they find that really helpful for them. And they basically just have to hide that from the people in the meeting. They don't talk about it, and they just do their own thing, and they still say that they are fully clean, and I totally respect their decision to say that. That doesn't work for me. I really can't do that. I find it super uncomfortable to be there and to know that I'm doing something very different, and to hear all this language that's kind of like judging or shaming what I'm doing and questioning it and saying it's not valid or I'm crazy. So I'm fucking angry right now, to be honest with you. Like, the last few days for me have been like a lot of like finding resources because I had a pretty scary experience last week related to using and drinking, where it was just a lot. It was like a lot, mixing things, and I got very messed up, and I fell, and I woke up the next day feeling absolutely atrocious. Oh wow, I don't think I've been caught by one of those hands in like a decade. Yeah, and yeah, like, so I had a scary experience, you know, and that experience told me, I don't know why I came back into this room. I don't need to be here. That experience told me more than anything, something needs to change, you know. I need to, something about my current way of living is leading to more intense using and drinking and more isolation, and it's just not healthy. Like, this is not supporting me. It's not the life I want to live. It doesn't, oh, if you're watching at home and you play Isaac, I'm so sorry for what just happened. I'm so sorry. That was such a mistake. I slid out of the door. Oh, we lost the devil deal. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I'm saying sorry because I used to I would watch Northern Lion make a mistake like that, and I would get legitimately angry at him. I'd be like, you goddamn fool, you idiot. I would sometimes close the episode, exit out of the tab. I'd be so angry that someone would make a foolish mistake like that. So if you're still watching, you know, thank you. Thank you for being understanding. I ain't perfect. Maybe this will help me to have a little more compassion also when I watch other people play games and they make mistakes. I'll be like, yeah, we're just humans. Wow, a black market. We can skip the mom fight and just go to Satan, actually. That'd be kind of fun. But yeah, so I had this scary experience, and I was like, all right, something needs to I think I can come back here. Something needs to change about the way I'm doing things. And so I've been taking some action and looking into, I was like, okay, you know, I need support. I need, what I'm trying to do alone right now is a bit much. Trying to moderate and accept my usage and give myself space and freedom to consume things that I've been, you know, wanting to consume or feeling deprived of. And it's that's a valid effort to want to make. I think it's, I still don't know what exactly I want to do with my recovery, if I want to continue to try moderation or not. But I doing it the way I've been doing it is not working, and it's been leading to sort of worse and worse outcomes. And so I was like, okay, something has to change. But what? What do I do? Where do I turn? And of course, my first thought is the 12 steps. You know, that always, and it's not a fun thought for me, man. It's like haunting. It's like a haunting, chilling, foreboding, dark thought of oh God, I have to go back there and I have to say things that I don't fucking believe, and I have to kowtow to their ideology. And even though from very early on I started to see things in it that I thought were harmful and not in alignment with my therapy, and becoming a more, you know, autonomous person with self-agency and freedom, and realizing that they're capable and powerful. You know, a lot of the language works kind of directly against that. And I didn't agree with it from the beginning, and it bothered me the whole fucking time. And so the thought of going back there and having to subject myself to that again, just to have support and structure, is so awful. It's so painful, that thought. And so I was like, okay, anything else? There has to be another option here, man. Please, don't make me go back. And so I've been researching alternatives, basically, and that has been a hell of a ride, because all of a sudden I'm having the courage to, you know, when you're in the 12 steps and you start reading alternative theories about addiction, where they say, yeah, moderation is possible, it's not a disease, it goes away on its own, whatever, Stanton Peele, freedom model. There's a lot of people talking about it. You get scared when you read that because you're like, oh God, you know, because you see that you're kind of breaking your own programming. Like you're this 12-step ideology that's been like firmly implanted in your brain is under threat if you start reading that kind of stuff. And well, it's the message that you've been given is that it's our way or the highway. It's the 12 steps or it's not going to work for you. And so when you start seeing something that you think, okay, we can telepills out. All right, this is going to work. You start reading something that threatens that philosophy, it becomes very scary to even read it. Like, you're like, oh God, should I even be reading this right now? Because like, if I read this too much, there's no going back, you know, if I open my eyes. So kind of like an awareness that I've been subjected to like dogma and ideology and kind of brainwashed. And at the same time, fear of opening my eyes to the truth because of like what that might mean for me. And this has all kinds of implications, what I'm talking about. I would love to like deep dive on this even further, but we're already like 4 levels of tangent away from what I was talking about before. Where the hell was that black market? Ah, here? Yes. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. You know, I'm realizing there's a lot of alternatives out there, and what I've been made to believe about them is not true. You know, basically that they're not going to work or they won't be as effective, or I'm starting to question a lot of beliefs that I've already been questioning for a long time, but I would say now I'm doing it more aggressively, and I'm kind of like rooting around in my subconscious and realizing how much programming is in there. And a lot of these people and podcasts and resources that I've been finding, they talk about deprogramming, and that ultimately after leaving the 12 steps, they've had to unlearn a lot of things that they learned in there. A lot of like judgments and stigmas and beliefs about addiction, which, you know, can be really firmly implanted in your brain, because if 12 steps is the first thing you're exposed to when you come into recovery, which likely it is, you're at a very, 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 very vulnerable point in your life, you know? And like, that's where cult things can prey on people, and sort of like dogmatic philosophy it preys on vulnerable people who are really like fucking scared and don't know where else to turn. And then they're offered a solution, but they have to believe certain things or admit certain things, which they may not fully believe or even want to admit, but they sort of see that there's no alternative. And that was definitely the case with me. I feel that I was like, and probably in the future I'll start to reflect on things that I gained from the 12 steps and whatever. You know, there's good stuff there. There's good people there. There's good parts to the philosophy. I think, you know, maybe in the future I'll become even more like against it, but I don't know. This is just where I'm at today, and so yeah, I'm gonna find my way, man. There's actually a clinic near where I live that I went to before I went to rehab. I did outpatient there, and it was just like I just had like a counselor, and we worked on moderation, which at the time like didn't end up working out for me. I think it was useful for me to like go through a period of total abstinence just to kind of experience what life is like if you don't use anything for a longer time. And so I might reach out to them again, because they also have an in-house psychiatrist, and to sort of treat both things at the same time and be like, yeah, look, I do still struggle with like substance abuse, and I would like to talk to someone about it and have some kind of like structure or community or program that I'm working. I would like to, you know, I recognize that there's work to be done, that I need to engage myself in my recovery. And with each passing day, I'm like more and more firmly certain that it's not going to involve the 12 steps. Or if it does, you know, it'll be really like on the fringes, and I'll just go for the community aspect. But I will just have to like hold my tongue about a lot of things. And right now I'm like, I don't think I can do that. I can't even do that for a fucking 40-minute Isaac episode. No way I'm going to be able to do it for like a 90-minute meeting. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. That's where I'm at. And yeah, I feel really good today. And maybe this is like hypomania. Maybe this is what hypomania feels like. And if I have to give this up in order to stabilize myself and my mood and you know, help to deal with the very low lows, then I think so be it. Like, this feels so good that that I'm willing to feel a little bit less aggressively positive for my own well-being, if you understand what I mean. Like, this is a lot. This is like so much energy and positivity and excitement and racing thoughts that I think this is like intense. I don't think that this is something that is sustainable over a longer period of time. And it's just too much, too fast. Okay, we might die here, actually. Oh my god, we died! I didn't even use the chariot. Oh, that hurts, guys. That hurts. Wow, that's our first death on this channel. All right. Well, oh, sorry, don't mean to do that. I think that's a good place to leave it. I hope my thoughts were kind of wrapped up towards the end. And yeah, I'm excited to be doing this again, and we're gonna see where this goes, where this whole journey of my life and my psychology and my mental health and my recovery and my Isaac skill and gameplay, and we're just gonna see where it all goes, you know? So yeah, if I upload this, then welcome back to me and to you, the listener, and thank you for listening. Thank you for your time and your attention, and yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts are on all these things that I'm saying. I'm sure some of it, depending on the person listening, some of it may be like very triggering or thought-provoking, or you just don't care at all and you just came for the 15 total seconds of me talking about the actual game because you're trying to like learn Isaac or something, in which case this channel might not be for you. So I don't know who this channel is for, but if it finds someone and offers some positive thing to your day, then that's great. And if not, then I'm not sure why you listened for so long. So thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.